good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to Mind Matters 2020. We are back, guys. We are back. We are back. And we are live promoting thought consciousness and self awareness. Again, we're promoting thought consciousness and self awareness, helping each other to develop, grow, and expand. Well, it is April 3rd. Can you believe it? We are in the third month? No, April, fourth month. January, February, March, April. 4 months. We're in the fourth month of 2021. This year is zipping past us. This year is zipping past us. And again, I'm glad that you've joined us. Let someone know that we are live, and we are live right now here on Facebook. Facebook Live, Facebook Live, Facebook Live. We are here live today. And again, I'm excited that you've joined us. I missed you last week. Hopefully you missed me. And I really want to share with you some things that have been on my mind. Many people are celebrating this weekend the resurrection of Christ. And so we are celebrating with you. I'm celebrating the fact that Christ is risen within me and that I am operating as the Son of God in the planet. I am operating as the Son of God in the planet, moving in miracles, signs, and wonders. My life is a miracle. My life is a sign, and I am a wonder. The scripture says, these signs shall follow them that believe. And so I am a believer. I do believe in the Son of God, and I believe that the Son of God is risen within each one of us. Each one of us are sons of God, manifesting miracles, signs, and wonders. Our life is a miracle. Our life is a sign, and we are all wonders. I'm telling you, we have miracles to perform in our life. We've been given that power and authority by divine source, our creation God, to move in miraculous power of creativity. And so I live in that, and I want you to live in that. I want you to know who you are. I don't ever want you to downplay who you are and what you've been created from. You have been created from the very essence, the very image, the very likeness, the very DNA, the very mind, the very idea of God, all creation and divine source. And so I am encouraging you today to move in that. Move in that today. And you know, we've been talking about the inner work, 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 and how important it is for us to do the work that is necessary for us to walk in healing. Healing is the children's bread. It is your nourishment. It belongs to you. And so I am encouraging you, exhorting you to move in what belongs to you. Move in what you are. You are healed. And so that has to be your affirmation. That has to be your declaration that I am healed. I am healed. And I am healed threefold: spirit, soul, and body. I am healed in every aspect of my life. I am healed emotionally. I'm healed financially. Come on now. I'm healed intellectually. I am healed. I am healed in creativity. I am moving in that which I was created to do. And so you've got to make these affirmations over your life. You got to think about these things. You know, one thing that I've noticed about me and during my time of meditation, I've been doing something what we call meditation, mind, and movement. And what I'm noticing that every step I take when I'm making my movement, as I'm walking 30 minutes a day, every step I hear, every step I take, I am a millionaire. I am a millionaire. I am a millionaire. I am a millionaire. Every step I take, that is my declaration to every step that I take. I am a millionaire. I am a millionaire. I am walking in that. I am living in that. That is my thought process. That is my inheritance for my children, that I am a millionaire. And listen, let me tell you something. There is nothing non-spiritual. This is spiritual. You have to understand that money is energy. You have to understand that wealth is energy. And so you have to see it. I'm going to say it to you. You've got to see it before it manifests. You've got to see it before it manifests. You've got to see it before it manifests. You got to see it. You got to know it. It's got to be a part of you. It's got to become you. And I have shared this so many times that you cannot create and manifest anything if it does not become you. Come on now. You're talking about miracles, signs, and wonders and bringing things to pass. It has to become you. Everything that you see that we sit upon. I'm sitting on this chair. I'm standing in front of this computer, sitting in front of this computer. I have this cell phone in front of me. All of these things came from something. The persons that invented these things were these things. Oh, y'all don't get it. Y'all don't get it. The computer did not come into place because the computer comes from someone. It came from the inside of someone. It is someone. Oh, y'all don't get this. I'm telling you, we have to manifest. We have to bring forth what it is that we are. Some of you are human computers. Come on. What do you think the computer came from? It came from the makeup of man. And so we have to understand that in order for us to create or manifest whatever it is that we're trying to bring forth, we have to become it. Listen, I shared this a week or two ago. Passion, purpose. Passion, purpose. It becomes you. I was sharing this with Bryant a few weeks ago, and we were talking about that. And he was talking about how sometimes people will try to tell him, well, you need to do this, or you're doing too much, or this is what. And I shared with him, I said, you can only do what you are. You can only do what you are. If you are a teacher and you are passionate about it, and it is your passion, it is your drive, it is your purpose, you can only be what you are. And you operate in that. And operating outside of anything other than what you are is, come on now. Think about what that is. It's not real. When you are operating outside of who you are, it is not authentic. And what God, all creation and divine source is looking for is for us to operate in authenticity. Operate from the place of who you are and what you were created to do. Anything outside of that, it is fake. It is not real, and it is not authentic. It is not genuine. It's not coming from the right place. We've got to operate in what we were created to do. And this means that you have to pursue your passion. You have to pursue your purpose. You have to live in it. It has to become you. You have to operate in it. Every day of your life, it is about moving in your purpose and passion and not allowing anyone outside of you to dictate to you what you've been called to do or what you've been created to do. And so this is why it's important for us to do inner work, because most of our lives, we've been operating from the outside in. Can I be honest with you? Most of us have been operating from the outside in. We have not been operating from the inside out. And so if we really understand kingdom, if we really understand the gospel of the kingdom, then the gospel of the kingdom has to do with the inward man. It has nothing to do with the outward man. What the scriptures say, the outward man is perishing day by day, but the inward man is renewed what? The inward man is renewed day by day. The outward man is perishing. And let me share something with you about that outward man, about the body, because I read something and it really talked about this, about the external world and how important it is for us when we're doing the inner work. We have to center our attention inward. This is called spiritual work, really. I mean, there's inner work. There's so much inner work that you can do, but this is spiritual inner work, and it's about centralizing yourself, centering yourself, and doing the spiritual work is turning the attention inward, inward, inward. And I can say this with great assurance that most of the time, most of us who are believers have spent most of our time concentrating on the outside. We weren't really taking care of the inside. We weren't taking care of the inside. Let's be honest. We were really concerned about what people saw, how we were perceived, what we looked like. Did we look the part of what we claimed? All of that is the external. And so we've been working from the external part. And so I want you to see this. That's what we talk about, this unconscious world, this unconsciousness in the world, and how important it is for us to understand that the external world is going to continue to have its issues, its ebbs, its flaws, its flows. It's going to continue, and your body is also a part of the external world. And listen, there's going to be times of peace. There's going to be times of turbulence in the external world. That is a definite. You're going to have your highs. You're going to have your lows. You're going to go through in the external world. Yes, you're going to have pains and aches in the external world. That's the body. So that is going to happen. However, what goes on in the external world is irrelevant to your inner work. I want you to see this. I want you to hear this. It is irrelevant to the inner work. And if we haven't realized this already, the sooner you do, the better. Understand, what goes on in the external world is irrelevant to your inner work. And if you haven't realized this already, the sooner you do, the better. Because you know what we've been doing? We've been concentrating so much and using so much energy on the external until we have not benefited. Oh my goodness. From that which is internal. Because we spent so much time out here, all this, but we have not benefited from that which is happening on the inside of us. The benefit is in you, because what happens is, as you begin to go inward, what's inward begins to burst forth outward. Jesus, according to scripture, went into the tomb, but he came out. I need you to catch this. He went into the tomb, inward, in the gut, and then he resurrected out. That should tell us something. That something must happen in us, and there must be a resurrection that happens within us that bursts outward. So we've been living and concentrating from the outside in, and we should be living from the inside out. Now, the sooner we understand this, the better, because it's going to revolutionize your life when you start living from the inside out. So turn your attention. Tell your neighbor, whoever's watching me, type it in the comments. Turn your attention inward. I need to say it again. Turn your attention inward. And another thing I've learned, that because I've turned my attention inward, I'm not in everybody's business. Oh my goodness. And something, I'm going to say this because I've been thinking about this. Just came across my mind the time that I took off last week to talk to you guys. And I said, I believe if we really turned our attention inward, we wouldn't be involved in a lot of gossip. We wouldn't be involved in a lot of things that are transpiring in the world, per se. I'm not saying that you shouldn't be privy to what's going on in the world around you, but I'm talking about busybody in other men's matters, gossip, slander, all these kinds of things that we spend our energy talking about. Preachers and the preacher who failed last week, and this pastor did this and that pastor did that. I feel like if we spent most of our time going inward, dealing with us, healing ourselves, that we wouldn't have time to be caught up in all that other stuff. And so that's for me. I'm not saying it may matter. Some of y'all like that. Some of y'all like to be in the know. You want to know everything that's going on, everything. But I'm getting tired of that. Can I say that for me personally? I'm tired of that. There's too much to do. There's too many lives to help. There's too many people who are on a downward spiral. And yes, some of these things that we hear about, people are affected by it. Yes, they are. But if we're not doing anything to help it, if we're doing more talking about it and less help, then what is it? What's the purpose of it? And so that's where I am. I don't know where you are, but that's where I am about all of that. And so I'm finding myself pulling away from all of that. It's like, you know what? I don't have time for that. I got too much work to do. There's so much millionaire work to do. There is so much things that are on the plate for me. There's so many things I'm putting in place. My goals, I'm setting them off, and one is just scratching them off day by day. And so I have too much time and too much energy to be put into that than to be worried about what somebody did over here, who said what about John, and what John said about Sue, and all those kinds of things. That's too much energy. And so a lot of times when we do that, let's be honest. Can we be honest today? A lot of times when we spend all of our energy doing that, we're trying to really hide from ourselves because we don't want to deal with us. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. We don't want to deal with us. And the worst thing is for you not to be able to sit with yourself. I think that's the worst thing. I think that's the worst thing in life. That's the worst trauma, is that you cannot sit with yourself, that you can't sit with yourself alone, that you can't eat with yourself alone, that you can't wine and dine yourself, that you can't date you. If that's a problem, if you can't come home and feel serenity, if you can't feel peace at home, if you just always got to be into something, you always got to be going, you can never sit still. Be still and know that I am God. How about that? Be still and know that I am God. I have got to be still enough to know who I am. You got to understand, we've got to understand this, and our interpretations of things are so warped because we don't take time to do the work. And so I am here to encourage you to think again. I'm here to encourage you to do the work. I'm here to encourage you to let's sit still. Let's be still for a moment. Let's sit with ourselves. Let's deal with us, not the gossip and the slander. Let's deal with us. Let's go inward. Let's talk to us. Let's have conversation with us. Let's see where we are. Let's see where we're going. Let's see what our purpose is. Let's see what our passion is. Let's see what our direction is. Where are we going? Where is our GPS? Where are we in life? What are we doing right now? What are you setting in place? What's your goal? What's your ambition? What's your achievement? Where do you want to go? Where do you want to live? How do you want to operate? Who do you want to sit with? Who do you want to love? Who do you want to be with? Come on now, because many of us are all over the place. We want to be with this. We want to be with that one. I'm sure I like that one too. I want that one too. I mean, we're all over the place. And so we must bring ourselves into subjection. But you can't do that out here. You got to do that within. I've got to bring myself under subjection to spirit so that I can hear, so that I can lead, so I can guide, so I can have a compass for my life, and that I'm not all over the place. And many people have irons everywhere. You got irons and fires everywhere. You can only do one thing at a time. And that's what I had to learn on this journey. You got one thing over here, you got this one over here, you got this book over here, you got that book over there, you got this one over here, you got that over there, and you got all this stuff going on, and it's chaotic because that's the world that we live in. We live in that chaotic kind of world, and it's fast-paced, and all this noise, and everything is going on, and there has come a time when we have to quiet ourselves. We have to go inward. We got to meditate. We got to meditate. We got to sit still for a moment. We got to hear what's going on the inside of us. We've got to listen to the voice that leads us. We've got to listen to the voice that guides us. We've got to listen to that inner voice that says no. Come on now. When all the outside wants to say yes, we have to have the inner voice that says, no, not today. I'm not doing that today. I'm going to sit still today. I'm not going to keep moving. I've got to get out of this pattern of taking off at every whim and falling for every whim, falling for every wind, the scripture says, and doctrine. You know, everything that we hear, we fall for. And so we've got to go within. And so this is why it's so important for us to have relationship with ourselves. Many of us have relationship with everybody else, but do we know us? You know everything about the person you're intimate with, but do you know anything about you? What do you know about yourself? What are the things that you like? What are the things that you don't like? What are the things that move you and the things that don't move you? What are the things? What are your passions? What are your desires? What is it that you want to do? You know more about outside things than you know about you. And so I'm encouraging you to get to know you. Turn your attention inward. It isn't hard, but you got to practice. And I'm not, many people say practice makes perfect. I believe practice makes permanent. You can walk in a permanent. You can walk permanent. You can live inwardly permanent and never allow the outside to control you. Now, y'all need to sit with that. Selah, pause, think about it. It is possible to him that believes that you can live inwardly, and your inward man will affect your outer man. We've been so used to living flesh and not living inward spirit. We're so used to living outward dictation, being dictated from the outer world, the external world, until we're not being dictated from the inner world, the spirit world, the spirit realm, the realm of the spirit, moving from that place, moving from the real you, living from the real you, operating from the real you, governing your life for the real you, from the real you. This is your government, the real you. The God, you. That's your government. And the government shall be upon his shoulder. These other governing entities on the outside of you must be upon his shoulder. What shoulder? Your God's shoulder. It must sit upon the shoulder. They can no longer rule and reign here. They have no authority. I'm not being, nothing being authorized from the outside, but it's being authorized from the inner me. I am submitted. Come on now. You've got to submit to the inner man. I am in total control of my life. The inner man is at rule. The inner man is at work, and he's ruling me from the inside out. I am living from the inside out. I live from the inside out. I refuse to continue to be controlled from the outside. That means voices. That means people who've spoken to your life. You've got to know your voice. You got to know the voice of the Spirit. You got to know the voice of the Spirit. You know what your spirit man says. I just shared this with a friend of mine this week on a decision that he needed to make. I said, you need to know what you want, not what someone else wants on the outside of you. But you got to know what you want. And you cannot make decisions from a religious perspective. That does not work. You cannot make quality life decisions or spiritual decisions from a religious place or perspective. It does not work. Do you not realize how many times we've done that and we've jacked our lives up because we made religious decisions? Because people on the outside of us had a way to manipulate our thought patterns, that we needed to do it how they said we need to do it and not according to spirit. Come on now. This is the reason why we had Jim Jones. This is the reason why we had all these different things. Is because people allowed men and women to control them, manipulate them, their mind. And so now you've been anointed to think. I'm telling you, I will not stop until I get some people to think again. Everything about your life, you know. You know what's best for you. You know what decision you need to make. You don't need somebody to come and prophesy to you and tell you what decision you need to make. You already know what decision you need to make for your life. You already know what decision you need to make that's going to be betterment for you. Nobody has to tell you that. You know it. It's within you to know it. But that's what I'm saying. We've got to do the inner work. We've got to get familiar with the inner you. You got to know you. You got to know. You got to know. You got to know. You got to know. Turn your attention. I'm going to say it again. Turn your attention inward. It's not hard, but it's practice to make permanent. I've been saying this for months. These are questions that you're going to have to ask yourself, and they're simple questions. And I'm out of here. But these are simple questions. And I have been saying this because this is what I've been getting in meditation. And then I've been doing research, and I found that the beginning stages of what's happening to me on this process I'm walking through is the same processes that other people have gone through. There's nothing new under the sun. And so as I'm doing this, I have said to myself, and I've told my pastor and my apostle, I said, I stopped listening to a lot of things because I don't want to be influenced. And I want to be able to discover this on my own. So I turned off a lot of things. And I'm not saying that that's something you have to do. I'm just saying for me, I had to turn off some things. I had to turn my ear off because I wanted to sit in meditation, because I wanted to walk through this process in my life. Go inward. Find out about Tony. What does Tony like? What does Tony don't like? What is going on with Tony? What does Tony want? And so I started to do those things. And this is just me. I'm encouraging you. And so I turned certain things off. There are certain, even awakened people. Some people I don't listen to. And it's no offense. I'm not being offensive. But I'm just telling you that this is the process that I am on. And as I'm learning about me, I'm starting to research, and I'm finding that the same thing that's happened to me has happened to other people. And I'm trying to quiet voices. I'm trying to hear the voice from within. And as I hear God within me, as I hear divine source and all creation within me, I am now understanding life in a total different perspective. And so these are some questions I'm going to leave with you. One, because I ask this question all the time to people. Where'd you get that thought from? Are those your thoughts? Or is that something somebody taught you? These are questions I would ask. And watch this. These are the exact questions that I begin to discover about me, in me, talking to me. And this is what someone says. Who is thinking those thoughts? That's one question. This is what you're going to have to start asking yourself. And I need you to write these down somewhere. Who is thinking these thoughts? You got to ask yourself, are these my thoughts or somebody else's thoughts? Second question, where do these thoughts come from? Did they originate from within you, or did they come from someone else? Did someone teach you this? Did you get this out of a teaching? Was this something your pastor taught you for years ago? And you have to understand that in spirituality, it's progression. And you've got to progress in life. That's all I'm going to say. Another question, where do my feelings come from? Because sometimes we can be operating in somebody else's feelings and not what we really feel. I'm only doing this for you because it makes you feel good. Oh, y'all better talk back to me. I'm only saying this to you because I know that you hearing me saying that makes you feel good. But what I'm saying to you, does it make me feel good? Do I get anything out of that? Because I'm telling you what you want to hear. Okay. All right. Where do my feelings come from? Why do I have these feelings? Where did I get them from? Are these my original thoughts, my original feelings? Or was I taught these things? Am I reacting this way because I was taught to react this way? Or am I reacting this way because that's how I react? You got to ask yourself. Why do I believe what I believe? Now, that's a big question because many of us believe because it was passed down to us and not because we believe it ourselves. Woo! My. It was passed down. It's a tradition. You don't even know why you do it. You just do it because it's tradition. Oh, well, mom and them did it. Dad and them, their parents did it. Their great-grandparents did it. And so we just been doing it, and we don't know why we do it. We don't know why we lay the plate or lay the spoon on here. We don't know why we do this. We don't know why we cut the turkey this way. We don't know why we do what we do. We just do it because it's been passed down through tradition to do it. So why do you believe what you believe? There are some things that I believe now that I previously believed. I'll say this: I previously believed that I don't believe now. Why? Because it's progressive. Now it may be different for you. You may be on a different journey, but as you're journeying and you may get to a place where I am, you'll understand. But what I'm talking about, if you're not where I am, you're not going to get it. And sometimes because you don't, you call it heresy, you call it new age, you call it false doctrine, false teaching, itching ears, all these kind of things that we come up because we have been religious people and we thought that there was nothing else to read, or we thought that we shouldn't be educated on anything else but what we read. And this is not an attack. This is just truth for me. But again, there must be progression in life. We must begin to see things, even with the scripture when you're reading it. The scripture should not be the same it was 20 years ago. Your understanding should be more fruitful than 20 years ago. If it's new every morning, if you're refreshed every day, then there should be a refreshing of scripture that you see scripture in a total different perspective than you seen it yesterday. And so that's how I live. And so I don't look at it from an antiquated thought any longer. I don't look at it from a place where I used to be, but I'm looking at it from the place where I am now. And so it is amazing to me how we get stuck. Another question is, are my beliefs true? Just because you believe it doesn't mean it's true. Oh, my goodness. Are my beliefs true? I'm going to say it again. Just because you believe it doesn't mean it's true. Oh, wow. I'm going to pause and Selah on that. Just because you believe it doesn't mean it's true. I need you to take that to the bank because that's the truth. Just because you believe it doesn't mean it's true. Now, I want you to be renewed in the inward man. Listen, there is a scripture I'm going to leave you with. Let me find this because it just came in my mind. Just came in my mind real quick. And I'm done. I'm out of here. I've been trying to stay at 45 minutes. But I want to share this scripture with you. And then I'm out. Remember, you can go to our website, mindmattersxx.com. We have purchases on that particular website. And the jewelry is on there. We have some t-shirts that are on there. These selfie t-shirts. Who said being selfish was a bad thing? I am selfish. Take a selfie moment. I want you to go on there and order those shirts. I've got to get those shirts out of my possession. So I'm going to ask you all to purchase those shirts for me. And also, we're working on something with Printify. We're working on some things that we're going to be doing, some more t-shirts and tennis shoes that I'm working on that I want you all to purchase. So I'll let you know when that's set up. We have so many things that we're doing right now. We're also getting ready to put the business out there. So I'm getting the business licenses and all those things prepared and ready. I have to meet with the accountant, and then we'll go from there. But I want you all to understand that what I'm doing is birthed out of my experience and my journey. Even the beading started as a part of the beginning of my journey. And so I've been putting those beads together. And what I'm doing right now is putting together a resource of what every bead means, their significance and things like that. Many of you don't know that I am from an Indian culture. My grandmother's father was full-blooded Blackfoot Indian. And so I have Indian culture. My people are originally from Oklahoma. And so that permeates through my blood. And so I began to tap into that and didn't know why. There was certain birds that I was attracted to. I'm trying to figure out, why am I attracted to these birds? And so I'm finding out all these things about my life and my heritage. And so I'm doing some more research. Me and my mom are going to be doing some DNA researches and things like that. So we're going to be getting involved in that because we want to go back as far as we possibly can with our family heritage. I think that's important. You need to know who you are while you're working on you. And I'm finding this, that as I'm working on me, I'm doing the inner work, spiritually healing myself. I'm finding that I want to know more about me, about where I come from, because it's important and it answers the questions of how I got where I am, And so that's why it's important that you know who you are, because you need to know how you got to that destination that you're a part of. You need to know how you got there. Why did I end up in that destination? Why did I end up in that religious sect? Why did I end up in that particular movement? Why did I end up in this doctrine? Why did I end up in this relationship? Why did I end up in this family? You got to know. You've got to figure this thing out. And the more we walk vicariously through life, not knowing, it's a horrible thing to die not knowing. And I believe that's the greatest death. Physical death, okay, we all gonna die. But the greatest death is to die not knowing. Come on now. Not knowing, never being fulfilled in life and not knowing where you come from. So I encourage you, I'm going to leave you with this scripture. 2 Corinthians 4:16. 4:16, I said this earlier. I believe it came out of my mouth. But it says, as I pull that up, it says, therefore we do not lose heart, though outwardly we're wasting away, yet inwardly we are being renewed day by day. This is why I'm encouraging you to deal with your inner man. Know who you are. Do the spiritual work. Because it's important that you understand that that part of you is the renewing. That's the renewing. That's the place that never dies. The real you. When you leave this body, it's a shell. And that's the real you. That's never dying. And so that's the part we need to be concentrating on and spending time with. And listen, all those questions I just read to you, all of those questions force us to look at ourselves. And what happens is this. It causes us to look at ourselves, and it causes us to discover, and it causes us to realize why we do what we do, why our families do what our families do. It shows us what society has taught us, and those things that society has taught us, we literally perpetrate these beliefs and feelings in our everyday life because society taught it to us and not because we didn't go inwardly to express life. All right, I'm out. This is Antonio Carter with Mind Matters 2020. I could go on for another hour just talking about this, but remember, we're here promoting thought, consciousness, and self-awareness. I want you to go in peace. I want you to understand what's happening on the inside of me. And I believe that something's happening on the inside of you. And we're helping one another to develop, grow, and expand. This conversation that we're having is helping one another. And so I want your comments. I want you to comment. I want you to talk about some things that I've talked about. I want you to take those questions that I've given you and sit with them. Sit with them in meditation and go over those questions. And don't let life dictate to you, but you dictate to life what it is that you desire and what it is you will have and what it is you will not tolerate. All right. I love you guys. Peace. Ashe. So it is. So shall it be. Remember, meet us again next week at the same time, 11:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for Mind Matters 2020, where we're promoting thought, consciousness, and self-awareness, and we're helping each other to develop, grow, and expand. I'll see you again on next week.